Are you sure you love me and no one else? Zotwa asked Temba. Dead sure, said Temba. I checked the whole list again yesterday. Okay. Many people have asked why I have not considered stand-up comedy as my hustle. I always laugh them off. I mean, but maybe, just maybe, I have not discovered my purpose in life. I have not found out why the hell I'm on this planet. Maybe I could make you guys laugh and make better money than talking business and motivation and stuff like that. Huh? I must think hard about this side hustle. But maybe my help lies somewhere else. So tonight I asked our resident personal development coach, Dr. Thando Sibanda, to help us answer the million-dollar question. What is purpose, and what is the process of discovering my blueprint in life, the manual? Have you discovered yours yet? Are you on your path of your purpose? If not, then as Betty Wright once sang, tonight is the night. No. Not when you make love for the first time. I don't mean that, not at all. What I mean is that switch off all the distractions and be part of the most powerful 30 minutes of digital content you can ever find this side of the equator. Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. We are live on Facebook and Instagram, and we are also on YouTube. Please like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube. All platforms are Talk with Rams. I thank you very much for choosing us. And good evening to you, Dr. T.
Good evening, my brother. How are you doing, sir?
I am dark and lovely. Thank you. How are you?
I am well. I'm very excited to be here.
Would you say I have missed my purpose in life? That maybe I should be standing in front of audiences?
I think you should do both. You are very good at both.
This is Dr. T being modest there. He's actually saying stick to your day job. But I get it, Dr. T. I'm smart enough to read these things,
Sure, I know it's all good, brother.
Dr. T, there is no word that scares me more than the word purpose. Yeah. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people because a lot of us panic, wondering whether we have found our purpose, whether we even know what purpose is, whether we have the blueprint to this purpose. And I'm so glad tonight I get to speak to you about it. So welcome to everybody on the platforms. Thank you for joining us tonight. So Dr. T, let's start at the top. What is purpose?
All right. Thank you very much for that question, Rams. I think it's critically important for us to, to have these difficult conversations, because they really help us refocus. Now, purpose, in fact, just by basic definition, it is the reason for which something is done or created, or the reason for which something exists. That's primarily the explanation. For example, you can say the purpose of this meeting is to appoint a trustee, or the purpose of this. So you are literally clarifying the reason for existence.
Yes.
And another dimension is a purpose. Purpose is a sense of resolve or determination. Now, when there's something you are doing, that sense of direction, that sense of reason for doing it is also called purpose. But primarily, it is the reason for which something exists. That's what purpose is.
Wow! So purpose is the wings to a bird. The purpose is to fly.
Yeah, absolutely. One of its purposes is to fly. I mean, I can't find any other or many other purposes.
I would wonder what other purpose is there for wings. I'm sure they're meant for flying. Otherwise, all of us would have them.
That's true. Someone said, can you tell me what is the purpose for a mosquito? I don't know. Scientifically, I haven't found one. But there must be a reason. We will probably know.
I know what the purpose of a mosquito is, Dr. T. It's gotta have to be to teach human beings humility. You can be as strong as you think you are until this small, little, useless thing bites you. Then you realize I gotta be humble.
I agree. I agree 100% there.
So,
Yeah.
Dr. T,
Mm.
what are then, because then for me, it seems like you're talking about purpose is what then gives us a productive life. Therefore, rather, no, let me rephrase.
Mhm.
You have spoken to me about there are pillars to a productive life. What are those pillars?
Right, right, right. I would say that understanding the importance of purpose becomes the foundation for a productive life. That's very important. So there are three pillars. Of course, I always say that anything with three legs will stand, right? So
Yeah.
a productive life is what are called driving values. Remember, human beings are driven we function out of our value system. That's where our framework comes from. That's where our mindset comes from. And so a productive life has got three of them. They are driving values that bring achievement into your life. Then there are relational values that bring connection into your life. Then you've got purpose that brings fulfillment. So really, purpose is the main key for fulfillment in life. I call it the fulcrum of life. And here is the challenge. The challenge is that a lot of us are living life without understanding purpose, or seemingly without purpose. I remember Diana Ross, did that song. Do you know where you are going to? Do you like the things life is showing you? You see, because in life you've got to decide where you want to go. Otherwise, you will struggle, because then you've got, when you decide, you then discover. But when you are pushed, you are pressured. You see, so some people are going in a direction that they've never purposed to go in, and they are pressured in that direction. But others decide where to go, and then they embark on a journey of discovery. So purpose, understanding and knowing our purpose enables us to get on the discovery side of life, and not necessarily on the pressure side of life. That's what purpose is. And also, Rams, it's important for us to understand that if you don't have purpose, you are literally being driven by time. You are pressured by day. It's almost like we are a cell going through time. And scientifically, yes, we are a cell going through time. But when you add purpose, we then adopt a whole new dimension where we now, deep within each one of us, there is a need to feel like our lives count for something. That we're not just another face in the crowd. That we're not just another of the 7.3 billion people on planet Earth, but there's something inherently unique within us. We carry value. We bring some sort of value and significance upon the earth.
Okay, so that seems to say to me, if I have no purpose, I feel like I'm useless.
Oh, absolutely. because where there is no purpose, people self-destruct. Businesses and organizations die where there is no sense of purpose. Rams, the number one reason why, or rather one of the top reasons, let me phrase it that way, why relationships die is because people lose a sense of purpose within it. One of the reasons why businesses shut down and close, people will leave organizations, when they feel that their sense of purpose is lost. And a lot of us, let me bring it home, and I know it's going to be painful, but you will find that our sense of purpose allows us to dream. Our sense of purpose allows us to build. Our sense of purpose allows us to wake up with energy. It doesn't matter. We say this one woke up on the wrong side of the bed. No, if you are purpose-filled and purpose-injected, your bed has got two right sides. Whichever way you wake up, you are full of energy and zest. Some people, Rams, died at 25, they will be buried at 80 because they lost their sense of purpose at 25 and they are just existing until the carcass drops. So you realize that life, in essence, is not about the longevity of how long I've breathed. No, it is about the intensity of how purposeful I was in the time that I was here on earth.
Wow. Wow. I would not want to live up till 80, Dr. T, if I'm completely dead by now. There's no point.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But now that's the paradox of it. Because a lot of people get into despair and lose direction. And then from there, they just exist. And my question is, what were you born to do? Were you born to be just another kid that went to school, another kid that then went to high school and then went to university, learned a skill, got married, had a wife and the 2 kids, and your life is quantified with somebody who walked only on the process of life. Remember, there's the process of life, then there's the purpose of life. The process of life is simply, the usual, the mundane. And a lot of people live and die in the process and never connect to purpose, never connect to their unique value proposition, never connect to that thing that when they were born with their hand closed like this to signify that they were carrying something. So it's important to understand there is the process of life, there's a process track where every one of us runs, but there's the purpose track that you can tap into as you are living your life and the years are going.
Is purpose, Dr. T, intentional, or does it happen to me?
Right. Purpose is very, very intentional. In fact, Rams, purpose is realized primarily through intention. It is by getting to know your authentic self, by exploring your gifts, exploring your natural talents, your passions, and choosing the best possible expression to share them with the world. In fact, the journey to purpose is really more an internal journey than it is an external journey. One of the things that I wanted to actually mention, especially when it comes to the whole context of purpose, is that everybody needs to have what I call a purpose statement, right? It's not just for companies, it's not just for organizations, no. As much as it works, look, Office Vibe, this organization called Office Vibe, they did some research, and they found that really only 30% of the employees currently are engaged, which means that the people that earn salaries are not necessarily fully engaged, fully functional and fully there. Why? Because a lack of purpose, and this was the reason they said only 30% of the workforce are engaged, and the rest feel like they've lost a sense of purpose. That's why people will come to work and they do just enough for you to not to fire them, and you pay them just enough for them to come back. So it becomes a vicious cycle, but the main key ingredient, the main problem there is the fact that there is a lack of a purpose. There is no purpose in what we are doing. Purpose makes people connect to a vision. Purpose gives people energy for their own life. So every individual, you need to have a purpose statement for your own life, because you are an organization. You are an organization. And you are accountable, in terms of what you do.
So how do I find this purpose about my life, Dr. T?
Life purpose, Rams, is realized particularly through intention, as I said, right? But it can be a misleading concept, because purpose is not something we go and get somewhere. No. It's something we look within, and we find it within. We unlock it within us. Now, here is my point. There are 7.3 billion people on planet Earth. And each one of us is different. We've got a different fingerprint. I've said that even identical twins have got different fingerprints. If you put your hands on a hot stove and your prints got bent out, believe me, after 3 or so months, they will come back again exactly the same way they were. So it's the same thing with purpose. We are born with purpose, and all of us have got it on the inside. The only difference is that some of us don't actually go and find it within us. That is why if you don't know what your purpose is, you will live to fulfill somebody else's purpose.
Dr. T, and I suspect now we're going to have this conversation over a number of weeks. It's not going to end tonight.
Yes,
because
yes,
I want to say, is it possible that most of us don't even dig within to find this purpose, because our dream is to become a Maradona when my purpose is to be a preacher?
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I don't have time to dig into the man inside. I'm more interested in the poster boy that I see out there, and I dream of filling football pitches with millions of people watching me, when really that is not my purpose, and I probably don't even have the talent enough to be a Maradona.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There is nothing as frustrating as misplaced purpose. And it's particularly very difficult for us, especially within our African setting from an economic standpoint, that a lot of times we miss our purpose because we always look for those things that are financially lucrative. Believe me, there are many engineers today who are supposed to be poets. And there are many doctors today who are supposed to be carpenters. There are many people who have chosen a life track that they were never meant to walk in, simply because maybe that looked like, I want to be a Maradona, but you were never gifted with what it takes to become a Maradona. Maybe you can be a great Da Vinci, Maybe you can be a great street sweeper, as Martin Luther King said. That, if you are a street sweeper, sweep the streets so well that people will come by and say, here lived a street sweeper who swept well. But you see, fulfillment, a life sense of purpose is critical, and it works best when you run in your own lane. There's this term that I have, it's called follow the grain in your own wood. If you work with wood and you are planing wood, it's so much easier if you follow the direction of the grain. Now, we are different types of wood, and each wood has got different directions of the grain. What's important for you and what's important for me is to find which direction of the grain is my wood flowing. Then when I'm working it, I am working it in the direction of the grain. It's very, very important.
Now, I'm going to worry a few people watching us, Dr. T.
Right.
So what I'm hearing now is that pretty much most of us, even our jobs, are not our purpose, really. It's not something that we feel, we naturally good at and we enjoy doing. We're not so passionate about it. We don't care deeply about it. We care for the results because it pays for the roof.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I'm saying that this is a very difficult conversation to have, because a lot of us have been pushed into economic decisions and not necessarily purpose decisions. You see, a lot of people, and I remember watching this program where this guy, only in America, the parents were suing him because they had put a lot of money for him to pursue a particular a particular career, and he had said no, and he went on to become something else. He wanted to be a musician, play, compose music and stuff. And then this young man stands up at court and says, let's really be honest. Can you guys tell me what you feel you were born to do? All the jury members were like, I'm doing this, but I was born to do that. Even the judge was like, yeah, I was born to be a poet. I know I was born to be a poet. So everybody around this young man was totally pursuing something that they were not born to do. Remember the challenge of not discovering your purpose is the fact that you will always live with a sense that you've not lived your own life, you are living somebody else's life. As parents say, to your child, your dad is lawyer, your dad is lawyer, your dad is doctor, your dad is doctor. And that doesn't exist in the kid. And because they are a bit sharp, they follow that path to please the parent. And believe me, they may have food on their table, but when they go to sleep at night, they are thinking, how did I get myself into this?
Whew, okay. Then, now that we've shocked everyone, Dr. T, now I'm hoping people are not feeling depressed. And I'd like to hear your stories, guys. Have you found your own purpose? Are you still battling with it? Or are you confusing it with something else in life? So, Dr. T, let's try and make it
Right.
easy for people. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna then ask you, how then do I discover my purpose? This blueprint.
Okay. All right.
And let
Now
me
look.
add a rider to that
Right.
and say, how do I discover it at this time or age of my life?
All right. All right. All right. Absolutely. Look, the beautiful thing is that it's never too late to discover your purpose and move in that direction. Remember, when I say purpose, I'm not talking about the next best paying job. No, it's about discovering what makes you you. What and I'm going to share some questions here that would really that I hope can help people start looking inward, and then we can always expand on it in the next coming sessions and really go a bit deeper. But in fact, I'd love for our viewers to each think it this way, so that you understand how important it is. I would say get your calculator and do some life math, right? So multiply your age times 365 and subtract that number from 30,000, which is an average life expectancy. Divide that number by 365, and once you get what you get, literally gives you the number of years that you kind of have left. And my point, if I were to bring it in a very easy way, I'd say, look, if you are 60 and the average life expectancy is 75, and you have not discovered your purpose, now the challenge is that you are probably dealing with a lot of depression because you realize my time is gone. Maybe you put the best years of your life in someone else's vision or in doing something that really didn't take you far. But at least if you are hearing us tonight, I wanted to begin this question of asking yourself the very topic of our talk tonight. Why on earth am I here? Why am I here? Why did I show up? What am I carrying? What do I have? What unique value proposition do I bring, right? And so it's important. Here are some of the questions. What do I do easily? Naturally, what do I do easily? Because here I'm going to help you find what is called your sweet spot, because purpose is understanding what your sweet spot is in life. What do I do easily? What flows naturally out of me? Do you know, Rams, that a lot of people actually were born to help, to help others, to be an encouragement to others. That's what comedians do. Comedians help us laugh. But remember, when we grew up as kids, if you were someone who made people laugh, people looked at you and said, you are a joker, you're not serious. They called us not serious. They called us jokers. You know, can you imagine? And so someone who had really a passion and a gift for bringing people together and helping them transcend their mind through laughter and just using the art, the art of comedy. A lot of people today are poor. They went into teaching, they went into engineering because they left what they do easily. Now, how to monetize that is another conversation, but you've got to understand, what do I do easily? Thank God now comedy is a big thing. Now comedians can earn a decent living and have a decent influence. In fact, you know that the world has changed because we used to listen to politicians and laugh at comedians. Today we listen to comedians and we laugh at politicians. So so the world has changed for the better, I think. So it's important. What do I do easily, and also what do I love to do? What do I naturally love? What would I pursue, Rams, even if I was not paid for it? What would I do? What would I do? You see, those are key questions that someone needs to have. And then of course, what's my contribution to my generation? You've got to ask that question. Remember, purpose is discovered inward, but it must be lived outward. There is no tree that enjoys its own fruit, right? I've never seen a mango tree that says, I enjoy my own mangoes. Or an orange tree that says, these oranges are for me. No, there always has got to be that outward concept to your purpose, where you are here to serve your generation. See, if we thought like that, then I would figure out what I'm good at and how I can use that to serve. Normally, money value comes when you are using your gift mix to serve others. That's a very, very powerful thing.
Let me read two comments. In fact, one is a comment and the other is a question.
Right.
Lihlo on Instagram says, in my own understanding, and I think you've already said that, Dr. T says, Brarams, discovering your purpose is an inside job. It requires self-discovery and the things that you spontaneously enjoy, and it's mostly likely to be linked to your purpose. Great. He's agreeing with you. Yeah. But Hao says, what determines one's purpose, since we are a single piece of a broad picture, because you can pursue one or two things that you are good at. And in your opinion, Dr. T, does purpose have anything to do with spirituality or God?
Look, I believe, I think in the bigger context that we are not self-starting. I believe, those are my own personal beliefs. I believe that we were gifted with purpose. Every single one of us is born with purpose, and however you believe that we are here, we get to be here. But you see, it's the same concept of a blueprint. A blueprint reflects the mind of the creator. You see, that is why everything you see has a blueprint. The laptop in front of me has a blueprint. The pen has a blueprint. The chair has a blueprint, because the blueprint contains the mind of the creator. It also contains the reason why what you see was created. And it also contains the manual in terms of how what you see should function. That's what a blueprint is. When you look at a plan of a house, you can already tell this house will function this way. People are going to sit here. That is going to be the kitchen. That's going to be the living room. So as human beings, we are like that. And that is why you find that when you release people to their purposes, we don't all do the same thing, but we complement one another. What's important is to find that thing which is uniquely you. What is your own blueprint? It's really an inward journey. You find that. And I always say, here are two questions that will help quickly before we close. One, ask yourself, how will I be remembered? How do I want to be remembered? You see, because that question really speaks to the question, why on earth am I here? And secondly, if you were to write your own obituary, what would it say? If you were to write your own obituary today, right? Yeah. Imagine, write your own obituary, what would it say? You see, now that's very important in helping us begin to think inwardly and say, am I really doing what I was born to do? Is this really me? It's almost like as an adult today, if you our parents used to have our photos in their wallets and and the pictures that are put on the fridge, and then the magnet is put there. What does your childhood photo look like? If you were to transcend and go back to that young kid who was carefree, who had all these gifts that they were exploring, who was passionate about life without care. What does that picture look like? Because it is from that picture, all of us have got that self-concept within us, where we've got that picture of the person we wanted to be. It may not necessarily be the person we have become. And the question is, how do we then bridge that here?
Yvonne Mashita just walked straight into my head and vocalized what I wanted to say. She says, a lot of people live to please others. You live to please your parents, and later on you realize that you didn't live through your purpose and you expect your kids to do the same for you. Then it becomes a vicious cycle. Very sad. But I need to add, Dr. T, as we conclude.
Yes.
Is is the picture of the world that, as we see it, affecting our purpose-driven life? So especially now that, the world is not a secret, you can see whatever is happening there. So when you go on Instagram and you see people's Range Rovers and the Smacks in their own homes and stuff like that, and then you start fearing becoming a comedian because you're thinking, but if I don't become a lawyer or a PPE supplier, I'm not going to have the same Range Rover like the person on Instagram.
Absolutely. You see now, those are the external pressures that then want to divert us from purpose. You see, remember, a certain level of life comes with its own pressures, and some people simply don't choose that if it's not their path. It's nice to have a Range Rover, my brother. It's nice to have a Mercedes. And I know we all want the double-story house with the whole estate, but do people understand just what it takes just to maintain the Range Rover? What it takes to do the insurance for it, and you just one rev is like 100 rand. A lot of people want things that they wouldn't even be able to sustain. That's one of the key challenges of society. So then we tell people, fake it till you make it. You see, we have already diverted people from their purpose. Remember, your purpose is primarily to serve. And if we really obeyed the true law of purposefulness, is that the gifts that are within me, once I find that sweet spot, I look at my talents and passions and values, skills and expertise, and they all coalesce into this epicenter of then what gives me the ability to serve my generation. Not to be hungry. I know the world around us talks, grandisement. It speaks, be a consumer. But if we really follow what we were born to do, it's more about service than about gathering unto ourselves.
Guys, the PPE reference, I hope nobody gets offended. It was just an example. I was thinking like a king for a second. Dr. T, we're going to continue with this conversation. We have not even touched the surface yet.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a conversation for the next 2, 3, if not more sessions as we continue. I also want us to touch on, if we can teach people to monetize their purpose, they will stay on purpose. Our fear is that we don't see the monetary value in it soon. So the sooner we do it, the better. But thank you very much tonight, Dr. T. Wonderful as usual.
Thank you, sir. I've really enjoyed this session, and I really appreciate this opportunity for us to help people.
Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So I have always argued that most businesses fail because the technician tries to be everything else. If you're a plumber, become a plumber. If you're an electrician, become an electrician, and other things can be taken care of by other people, and it will make your business grow. So tomorrow evening, for Opportunity Tuesday, we have a company that helps especially informal traders to focus on their trading while they help them with stocks, with raising money, with business solutions, so that you don't have to be a business solution expert for you to run your little spaza shop. So watch out for that conversation and tell everybody, especially somebody who is in informal business, because they need it most. Your spaza shop should not make you a generalist. Run your spaza shop, let other people help you with other stuff, and they do it for almost nothing. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. I look forward to Opportunity Tuesday with you tomorrow evening. From me, Rems Mabote. Good night and God bless.
Talk with Rems Live brings you a new streamcast on Saturdays called 10 Questions, where our host, Rems Mabote, answers 10 business questions from you. Take part in the show by sending your question as a video or voice note to 067 271 8239. Or else, uzoitola kanjani?